somewhere beyond the sea.
Welcome back to our channel, where we dig into the lives of the stars who lit up the world. Today, we're talking about Bobby Darin, a man whose voice on Mack the Knife could charm the socks off anyone with a smile that dared the world to keep up. But behind the Las Vegas stage, he leaned on an oxygen tank, his frail heart ticking down its final beats. At 37, Bobby had it all: fame, fortune, and a love story Hollywood envied. So how did a simple mistake, forgetting antibiotics before a dental visit, end his life? Or was there something darker at play? The papers in 1973 whispered, Bobby didn't just die from illness. He walked himself into the shadows. A blazing star, a broken heart, both literally and figuratively. Join me as we step into the short but fiery life of Bobby Darin, where every note he sang was a pulse of a heart ready to stop. Are you ready to unravel the mystery behind his tragedy? Let's get started. Chapter 1. The ambition of a boy living on borrowed time. At 37, Bobby Darin fell after heart surgery. Some said it wasn't his body giving up. Bobby chose his own ending. To understand why, we've got to go back to the Bronx, 1936. In a tiny apartment in a rough neighborhood, Walden Robert Casado, later known as Bobby Darin, let out his first cry. Nobody knew this kid would live every day like it was his last. Born in 1936 in a cramped Bronx apartment, Bobby grew up poor. His mother, Nina, and grandmother, Polly, treated him like royalty. They doted on him, spoiled him, almost as if making up for some unspoken secret. The little room rang with laughter, but Nina's eyes sometimes went quiet, hiding a deep pain. Young Bobby, with his tender heart, never suspected his life was built on a lie. When Bobby was 8, rheumatic fever struck like a knife. It wrecked his heart, and the doctor shook his head. This boy won't make it past 16. Those words burned into Bobby's mind, but instead of breaking, he decided to defy fate. In a dim room, he sat by the radio, listening to Frank Sinatra and dreaming of a stage where sickness couldn't dim his light. But in the Bronx, a question lingered. Nina looked too young, barely in her 20s, to be the mother of an 8-year-old. Something's off with the Casados, a neighbor whispered to Variety in 1974. The rumors spread, but Bobby didn't hear them. He only knew he was racing against time. Bobby refused to let illness define him. He taught himself piano, sang, and wrote songs, ignoring the taunts of friends. "Who do you think you are, sick kid?" they mocked. Bobby gritted his teeth, fueled by a burning ambition to become a legend before he died. In 1958, at 22, that dream came true. In a cramped studio, Splish Splash was born, selling over 1 million copies in weeks. Crowds went wild. Stage lights blazed. Bobby Darin, a name inspired by a flickering Chinese restaurant sign reading Darin Duck, was now a rock and roll star. A childhood friend said, Bobby always said, "I'll be famous before I die." But under the spotlight, the shadow of death and family secrets loomed. Bobby lived like each day was his last, but that pressure made him wonder, was he racing against illness or a truth his family hid? His ambition was his guiding star, but it was also a flame that could burn him out. The whispers about Nina, the too young mother, felt like an omen, waiting to explode. Would Bobby's drive and family secrets lead him to glory or push him into a darkness he couldn't escape? Chapter 2. Fame that fueled arrogance. By the early 1960s, Bobby Darin was unstoppable. From the glittering stages of Las Vegas to Hollywood's silver screen, He was a versatile artist who left the world in awe. On the Dorsey Brothers stage show, his smooth voice made audiences forget to breathe. In Come September, he held his own with big stars, proving he wasn't just a singer, but an icon. Yet beneath the bright lights, Bobby felt a chilling loneliness. Fame fed an arrogance in him. "I'm a legend," he once declared, his eyes sharp, daring the world to disagree. That pride cost him dearly, sometimes erupting beyond his control. One night in 1961, at a New York nightclub, a New York Post reporter asked Bobby about rumors he'd bribed producers for his role in Come September. Bobby lost it, punching the reporter in front of dozens of stunned onlookers. "Don't ever question my talent," he roared, per the Post the next day. The incident sparked a media frenzy, with the public calling him cocky. Bobby shrugged it off with a smirk, but deep down, it stung. He feared being forgotten, feared the world seeing him as just a sick kid from the Bronx. His arrogance pushed friends away. Sammy Davis Jr., a close pal, couldn't stand his self-obsession, saying, "Call me when you stop being a legend," before walking out. Some friends whispered that Bobby acted flawless to hide family secrets. He flipped out when someone asked about his mom, a colleague told Rolling Stone in 1975. Was he protecting something? The reporter brawl was just one of many moments Bobby lost control, as if shouting to the world, "I'm not weak." But Bobby wasn't cruel. George Burns, who gave him his first break, saw the heart of gold beneath the glitz. In his 1980 autobiography, Burns wrote, "Bobby had a big ego, but he'd do anything for you." When Burns lost his wife, Bobby stayed by his side, sleeping in his room for nights to comfort him. Yet Bobby couldn't comfort himself. He was judged as arrogant, criticized for outbursts like the reporter incident. Each jab cut deep, making him question if he deserved the spotlight. Shame crept in as Bobby realized fame couldn't fill the void in his soul. He lived in the glow, but the fear of secrets exposed, of being abandoned, dogged him. The brawl was just a crack, but it revealed a Bobby struggling to maintain a perfect image. Was his pride a shield or a path to an unavoidable tragedy? Chapter 3. A Failing Heart, Hurt More by Love. In 1960, on the Come September set in Rome, Bobby Darin met Sandra Dee, an actress with a pure smile that Hollywood adored. Bobby was smitten instantly. He chased her relentlessly, even roping in her mom as an ally. One evening, in a horse-drawn carriage gliding through ancient streets, Bobby took Dee's hand, and she started to fall for him. In December 1960, they married, becoming Hollywood's golden couple. The public thought they lived a fairy tale, but the glow of love soon gave way to painful shadows. Bobby loved Dee fiercely, but that love turned into jealous obsession. He wanted Dee to be a classy wife, dazzling at lavish parties. Dee felt trapped, like a bird in a gilded cage. "Bobby wanted me to be a doll, not a wife," she said in a 1990 interview. Dee turned to alcohol for relief, while Bobby manipulated her emotions, leaving her in tears after fights. In their Hollywood mansion, only the sound of breaking glass and bitter words echoed, though outwardly they remained a symbol of love. Drama erupted when Bobby suspected Dee was cheating with Peter Fonda, her co-star in Tammy and the Doctor in 1962. Suspicion became obsession when Bobby found a note Dee left on her vanity. A brief message from Fonda, "See you tonight, PF." A crew member told Photoplay in 1963 that Bobby hired a private detective to tail Dee on set, but found no clear proof. "She smiled at Fonda too much," Bobby shouted in a heated fight, his face red with rage. Dee denied everything, but Bobby wouldn't listen. The scandal spread, with the public whispering about the golden couple's crack, calling Bobby blindly jealous. Bobby's pain wasn't just about doubting Dee, it was the world seeming to mock him. "They say I'm not good enough for Sandra," he confided to a friend, his voice trembling. In despair, Dee hit back, jabbing at Bobby's appearance, wounding him deeply. "Your wig's crooked," she once said before a TV show, leaving Bobby frozen. In 1967, they divorced, leaving their son, Dot, caught in a broken family. The public painted Bobby as controlling, Dee as the victim, but both were shattered hearts. Bobby spiraled, questioning if he truly knew how to love. Fonda's note haunted him, though Dee swore it was just a friendly dinner invite. Rumors said Bobby tried to reconcile with Dee before his death. But was that true, or just wishful thinking? Love, the thing he craved, became a knife in his already weak heart. The cheating scandal, real or not, was a fire that burned through his last shred of trust. Was Bobby's broken heart, along with whispers of scandal, a wound deeper than his illness, leading him to his end? Chapter 4. A family secret explodes, indirectly causing his death. 1968 was the year darkness swallowed Bobby Darin. First, he lost his close friend and idol, Robert F. Kennedy, in a horrific assassination in June. Bobby was with Kennedy just before the tragedy, watching his light fade. "I was there, but I couldn't save him," Bobby said, eyes red, per a friend's account to Rolling Stone in 1974. He stayed up all night by Kennedy's coffin, as if clinging to a lost hope. The grief tore at his soul, leaving him raw before the world. That same year, a family secret crushed him. Nina, who he thought was his sister, confessed she was his mother, having given birth to him at 17. Polly, who he believed was his mom, was actually his grandmother. The truth sliced through every childhood memory. "My life was a lie," Bobby whispered, according to a relative. He blamed himself for not seeing it sooner, wondering who his real father was. Rumors hinted his dad was a powerful figure, but Nina never said. The secret haunted Bobby, making him feel betrayed by the family who once called him their king. In crisis, Bobby reinvented himself. In late 1968, at a Los Angeles show, he ditched his shiny suits for torn jeans and messy hair, singing anti-war folk songs instead of Mack the Knife. He called himself Bob Darin, shedding his star persona. Fans were stunned, then angry. "Give us back our Bobby," one shouted, per Billboard in 1969. The world turned on him. Fans called him a trend chaser. The press mocked him as washed up. Bobby stood exposed on stage, facing himself without the light's protection. "They don't get that I'm searching for the real me," he told a friend, his voice hollow. Bobby retreated from fame, living quietly in Big Sur, California, with only the sound of waves and loneliness. He blamed himself for losing who he was in the storm of fame and secrets. The public saw him as a failure, no longer the star who captivated Hollywood. Each criticism cut deep, leaving Bobby broken, asking, "Who am I if not Bobby Darin?" The emotional toll strained his weak heart. He was torn, craving truth, but each answer brought only pain. The 1968 transformation marked a turning point, where Bobby faced isolation from the world and himself. He wanted to find himself, but found only fragments of the king he once was. The family secret and Kennedy's death were twin flames. burning out his last sparks of hope. Did these soul-deep wounds, along with the world's rejection, make Bobby's frail heart stop sooner? Or did he still have the strength to fight? Chapter 5. A heart that seemed to heal, ready to stop. After the storm of 1968, Bobby Darin fought to find light again. In 1971, he underwent a 5-hour open-heart surgery, receiving 2 artificial valves. Waking up, he knew time was short. But instead of giving up, Bobby returned to the Las Vegas stage, his voice still vibrant. Backstage, he relied on oxygen, but his smile never faded. "I'll sing until my last breath," he told a stagehand, per people, in 1973. In 1973, Bobby found new love with Andrea Yeager, a simple secretary. Unlike Sandra Dee, Andrea loved Bobby for who he was. They married in a quiet ceremony, Bobby's eyes glowing with hope. Andrea stayed by him through pain, wiping his brow when he fainted after shows. "She's my angel," Bobby said, per a friend. But their joy was fragile as a butterfly's wing. Just 4 months later, Andrea left, unable to bear the strain of caring for a gravely ill man. Some said she learned Bobby knew he was dying, but didn't tell her. Bobby crumbled, but kept performing, as if the stage was the only place he felt alive. The public didn't know how weak he was, criticizing his less-than-perfect shows. "They don't see I'm fighting," Bobby confided, his voice bitter. His mind wrestled with conflict, yearning for happiness, but haunted by illness's shadow. Did Bobby live fast to savor his final joys, or had he given up the fight against fate? Chapter 6. The mystery behind Bobby Darin's death. In December 1973, Bobby Darin entered Cedars of Lebanon Hospital in Los Angeles, his heart barely beating. A small mistake pushed him to the edge. He forgot antibiotics before a dental visit, triggering sepsis. "Just one time. How did this happen?" he whispered, per a nurse's account to the Los Angeles Times in 1973. On December 19th, he underwent a second open-heart surgery, lasting 6 hours. But this time, his body was too weak. In the recovery room, under dim lights, Bobby never woke up. His death at 37 shocked Hollywood. The press asked, how could a careful star like Bobby forget antibiotics? A theory spread. Exhausted by his lifelong battle with illness, he let go. A nurse said that before surgery, Bobby murmured, "I'm tired." Was it a goodbye or just a pained sigh? The public called him careless, but few understood he'd lived under death's shadow since childhood. Bobby was broken in his final days, not just by illness, but by loneliness. "I had everything, but kept nothing," he told a friend. His death was the climax of a life of contradictions, a dazzling star who couldn't escape fate's darkness. Was Bobby's death an accident, or did he choose to go quietly, leaving a mystery forever? Conclusion: the legacy of a star that burned out. Bobby Darin lived like a flame, brilliant, intense, but gone too soon. From a sick kid in the Bronx to a Las Vegas legend, he defied a death sentence, family secrets, and heartbreak to become a legend. But his death at 37, from a simple mistake, reminds us no one beats fate. Bobby didn't just fight heart disease. He battled himself, his ambition, fears, and unhealed wounds. His legacy endures. Mack the Knife and Beyond the Sea echo through time, earning him a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990 and a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1999. His role in Captain Newman, MD, showed he was more than a singer. a true artist. As an American Heart Association ambassador, Bobby inspired resilience, even if he couldn't overcome his own illness. The musical Dream Lover, created by his son Dodd in 2008, paints him as complex but worthy of respect, a shooting star across Hollywood's sky. But Bobby's tragedy carries a profound lesson. Ambition can lift you to the top, but without balance, it can drag you to the depths. Bobby lived fast, loved hard, but was he ever truly happy? He was judged as arrogant, criticized for mistakes, but few saw the broken heart behind the glamour. "I just want to be remembered," Bobby said, per a friend's account to Variety in 1974. He achieved that, but at a steep cost. The mystery of Bobby's death lingers. Was forgetting antibiotics a fluke, or was he tired of fighting? Some fans believe he knew the end was near and chose to live fully until the last moment. A fan wrote on a forum in 2004, "Bobby sang like every song was a farewell." Is that true? Or are we romanticizing his tragedy? The answer may stay in the shadows forever. Put on Beyond the Sea and remember Bobby Darin, a man who lived, loved, and left like a meteor. His life proves the brightest lights often cast the deepest shadows. What do you think of Bobby's tragedy? Was he a victim of fate or his own ambition? Drop a comment and share this story with music lovers. Bobby Darin wasn't just a singer. He was a story, a mystery, and a timeless lesson. Thanks for watching, folks. Hit subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another tale from the heart of showbiz.